Cool, we are recording, but
Where were you? You were mentioning
uh,
your hands.
yeah, my hands, hands. Uh, yes, we're just having an in-depth conversation about hands and phalanges. You know, um, well, as a photographer, it's like you know, as myself, I guess, I like to go beyond just capturing an image, making the image with a lens. I'm fascinated with process. So it's during, this time of kind of pandemic, I've been really working with the physical mediums as well, since I can't go on go on location
Hmm.
and capture the subjects I really want to capture. I've also explored my artistic self, like a fine artist. You know, I love expressionism or neo-expressionism, and just raw emotion, and put that on paper or any type of material I find. But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I, so yeah, that's where I've kind of explored myself over this past month. It seems like years, right? But
Well, it's nearly a year, so that's it's kind of
yeah, unfortunately,
coming
a
up there.
morbid kind of milestone, right? But
Yeah.
where to begin on your side of things?
Where to
Where do
begin?
we begin the story? Where does that tension begin? Where's the conflict begin?
Where does
And
the
then
conflict begin?
we'll go along the story arc of climax and
Yeah, we
resolution
can
if there
try
is
and
any.
yeah, exactly, re-equilibrium. Let me see. So, what do you mean in terms of this year?
We can start with this year since it's contemporary. But
Yeah.
I'm also we could go back to like what spurned your love for music and songwriting too.
Yeah.
So we can interchange time, flash forward, flash back, whatever you want to talk about. But
Okay. Well, I wonder I wonder which I've got most things to say about off the top of my head. That's
yeah,
probably a good way of deciding. My
exactly. Yeah.
like I feel like my relationship with songwriting and making music, I'm not even too clear on when I look
Mm.
back at my life. So in a way, that's a good reason to sort of talk about it and think about it. But in another way, it sort of might be a lot of me just going, so, I mean, that's less interesting. But yeah, it's true that this year, if we're going to talk about this year, it's been a funny one because we started off the year making a record with my band.
Mm.
That was like right at the beginning of March. Well, yeah, we went to the studio and made it, and then everything sort of went a bit bonkers with the world.
Mm.
But we managed to get it finished, long distance post production stuff. Then it came out, and it's just been an interesting year of having an album out, but not doing any gigs. But doing
Yeah.
lots of this sort of thing, which has been really nice because also it's a year of not interacting with many other humans. So it's just great having to sort of have these chats with people in my front room.
Well, that's the thing I found with this series. Going online with the series is that I've gotten to connect with so many more people I wouldn't have going on location because
Yeah,
I don't have the budget to travel to Paris or
yeah,
London, so I've connected with people on the West Coast. Actually, you know, months earlier, I connected with Ben and Kyle.
yeah. I watched
Yeah.
that. Well, I watched the first
Oh,
half
cool.
of that
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
and it's really nice. It's nice to see those guys.
Yeah, they're a good guy. It's funny. A couple years ago, I didn't even know who the National were, and
Mhm.
my current partner, like, she's like, I kind of just picked up from Boston. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, and
Yeah.
I kind of picked up in late 2016 and just moved to Brooklyn and moved to New York, and had this windowless room. And it was like crazy, and I was doing a lot of street photography at the time because it was just a new world. So my eyes were fresh, and my the current partner saw the sequencing on my walls, and she pushed my stuff to Paste Magazine, where then they started sending me on assignment to cover all these bands, and
Okay.
then I concepted the idea of uncontaminated sound. Let's try to go backstage and get intimate portraits of musical acts, and my partner is also has been an independent PR music publicist for years, and she's excellent and believes in my work. So
That's great.
She I think she knew, she was a huge fan of The National at the time, and I was like, I don't know, they kind of seem moody, but I at the time, yeah, I was definitely like skeptical, but then
it's not true.
true. But once it was like stuck on me, and then I was was sent on assignment to capture those guys at the Bowery Union. It's the end of 2017, when I think they were just releasing the record prior to the most current one.
Yes, was it called oh, I should know this. I remember the stage shows, but I don't remember the name of the album.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know the one you mean.
So it was like that was my first moment of capturing them on stage, but then it was like my partner kind of bought tickets to see them live, and then I think I captured Ben 2018 in a Brooklyn venue. He was performing on his band, the Lance Project at the time, like his solo project, and I captured him backstage there and had these cool shots, and then we've kind of connected, and I captured Ben and Kyle.
And you've got the sort of Massachusetts connection as well, a little bit.
Yeah, and then I connected with them last year in Boston. I got backstage for the Boston show, and I got some amazing stills of both Ben and Kyle kind of just backstage playing the horn.
Which show was that? Where was that in the sort of sports?
Yes, the Agonis Arena, I believe.
Oh yeah. So we probably passed each other in the corridor.
Oh, definitely. And then Ben invited me backstage post show, and we were hanging out. So I don't know. We might have.
You know what? I remember the after show of that, because like Ben's brother was there, and I remember what the room looked like, but I don't think we met, unfortunately.
Yeah, no.
Ships in the night.
It's funny though, because I've captured actually on the series I've spoken with Ben, Kyle, Tom, Matt's brother, and then actually that episode.
You're circling in.
yeah. It's like I didn't know who these this band was like prior to 2017, and now I'm like I've like connected with almost everybody, the touring members, so it's been cool. So that's kind of how I kind of, I don't know, on my end, kind of connected with the National, I guess. But how did you, I guess since we're on the topic, kind of link in with those guys and collaborate?
Well, I guess, let me think. I guess it starts a while back when my sister, like when I was like maybe 17, 18 or something, I came to visit my sister who was living in Paris at the time, and she, like her housemate or a friend of hers was getting guitar lessons, and they all made friends with this guitar teacher, and it was Bryce. So that's when I sort of first met him. It was kind of before the National, I guess, a little bit, or just like the very early days. And then so since then he's always been like a friend of my sister's, and then I've known the band, and I remember going to see them at gigs. You've frozen, I hope.
Yep.
I wonder what this means.
I still hear you clearly audio wise, but yeah, you're kind of froze on my end. Oh no.
I hope we can get through without losing each other again.
But this is like the current world we have to adapt to. It's like now, imagine when things kind of get back to normal. It's like now we're so used to just like It's
we're so used to sort of delay and like stutters.
Yeah. So but, it's like let's see, where do we leave off? I think I was inquiring Bryce, how you yeah, linked up
Bryce
with
was
a
giving guitar lessons, and I met him then when I was sort of 17-ish. And then, yeah, my sister was friends with them, and I would go and see their gigs when they toured in the UK and things. But so I always kind of knew of them as like my sister's mates. But then it wasn't until 2010-ish when a few of them, including Aaron, came to a gig I was playing in London, and he liked it, and he bought an album, and then he said, would you be up for Brassland re-releasing this album, and would you be up for me producing your next record?
mm,
And I thought that sounds like a fun adventure. So yeah, so that's what happened. Brassland re-released my second record,
cool.
and then I made Bashed Out with Aaron, and then we've sort of, you know, my band's gone and sort of opened for them at various times and been on tour with them and things like that.
Yeah.
And then again, it's funny because now Bryce lives in France again, and that's kind of how I ended up singing on I'm Easy to Find, because he was sort of, they were trying out different female voices for the record. And so I went with Pauline and another friend called Melissa, and Deanne as well, maybe she came too. We went and did some singing tries on the stuff, and then they kept some of it and then used some of it for the film and some of it just for the album. And then I was available to go on tour for that record and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, oh, yopala, yopala.
Oh man, I'm kind of just like tossed off from that disconnection. I'm like,
Yeah, sorry, but don't worry. I mean, it's fine. Like, I hope I did the right thing of just like staying here and waiting.
yeah. Like,
I think I sort of ended up sort of chatting into the recorder a bit more and sort of giving you a running commentary of what was happening while I was waiting.
But the thing is too with these, I generally don't. I generally don't cut anything. I just let it go, run as is. But there's been times where
the recording is cut out, so there'll be some,
nothing's like flesh. I mean, like smooth, but
it's great. I like that.
Yeah, I keep it real, like, and that's, I guess, yeah, that's what I'm really attracted to about art, and expression in general. And I also write poetry, and I love writing and literature. And I guess on your end, like, what do you tap into, like, energy wise to kind of start new material? I guess new work, new songs. If I can ask that, I mean, is that too?
Yeah, you can ask it. I can try and answer it. It's always hard to know, but I think for me, tapping into stuff so far requires quite a lot of solitude. Like, I mean, I'm someone that also like writes things down quite a lot. Most of the, what's the word? Regularly.
Yeah.
But when it comes to actually sort of turning what I've been writing and noting down into a song, yeah, I just need a lot of time and a lot of being on my own, because I'm not someone that can just sort of jump in and like, oh, I've got an hour, I'm going to get this done. Like, for me, there's no chance. Like, it just takes me an hour to just sort of sit down and start concentrating. So yeah, I guess that is an important thing for me, to tap into something when I'm writing songs. And again, I think, like, I guess it's a similar headspace to when you're traveling. Like, I really need to travel quite a lot, I think. It sort of helps my brain and my, I don't know, soul. And so that is quite a nice mode for me to be in, thinking about the world and where I am and what I'm doing. And I feel like that helps with writing quite a bit. But yeah, when it comes to songs, it's just putting in the hours for me, putting in the solo hours, because I'm not someone that can write songs very quickly. I was having a conversation with my friend Vince about this today. He was like, but it takes, like, you can write a song in an afternoon. And I was like, oh, I can't. Like, I need to sort of do it all day, every day for a long time. And just like, it's kind of a repetitive filtration process for me. So that,
yeah.
How I end up writing songs, depending on what I'm thinking about, what's sort of looping around in my brain at that time.
Yeah, I feel like, things.
I don't know if that's a good answer or not.
No, that's great. I mean, I totally get it, because I feel like the best stuff I've kind of, well, particularly with writing, you need time to reflect and not rush. Sometimes I get that sudden rush, and I'll get some good stuff out quickly, but
Yeah.
maybe it's just a culmination of just reflecting maybe over past experiences, and then it comes out. But it took years to get to that point, But
and is it different for you when you're working with visual or writing like text? Is it a different sort of switchboard? So
yeah, no. Well, I mean, I don't think I've ever had a switchboard. It's just been
it's like
there's
tipping
no
the bag out on the
filters in
floor.
here. Yeah. It's just all in here. So it's like,
that's good.
I'm like, I need to get it out somehow. And so it's like, if it's like, I can't, I'm not one to categorize. I don't like categorize, I just think of everything as art, like expression.
Yeah.
Anything that's expressionistic, coming from one's soul and, subconscious and their point of view, that's art, right? And you want to make, people feel through, visual media, writing, song. I find song and verbal storytelling is a very powerful tool to connect that other mediums can't. It's like this archaic or ancient, way of communication. Before anything else, it was
just
it was
the voice,
of course, but then we evolved into communicating. Modern man, at least, evolved into communicating with our tribes, and then we evolved. From actually, I've been reading, and not reading, *Sapiens: A Brief History on Humankind* by Yuval Noah Harari, and I think I've read a few chapters, and then I kind of put it down. But it's fascinating look on to study the evolution of our modern species, and look what we've done, which is can we consider ourselves the higher species? That's debatable, but
what you should do if you need, because I feel like it's a great book. He read me some of it, but it's got some sort of bits that are a little bit depressing in it. What you should read is who's it by? It's by Rutger. I can't read it. It's on the shelf over there. But a book called Humankind: A Hopeful History. Have you heard of that one?
I think I just read a quick interview where you mentioned it, but
oh right, yeah. I'm mentioning it again in another interview, aren't I? Aren't I consistent?
No, I've mentioned this book like several times as well.
Okay, good. But it's really great for making you feel a bit better about humans and giving you a bit of hope about this species that we're a part of, because sometimes it's hard, isn't it, at the moment, almost especially.
Oh yeah, it's
we're a funny bunch of creatures.
Well, if you can speak upon hope, and particularly this collective heaviness globally, on our species. But how do you continue to create during these times? This past year, how did you get through it? For me, painting was the way to meditate and just get all my emotional angst out from this.
To be honest, I feel like oh, sorry, I totally interrupted you. We got
no worries.
Lag.
Yeah, that's true.
But I feel like it is. I've been having a hard time, or I've been less drawn to writing using words, and I've been a little bit more drawn to visual stuff this past year, to be honest. And I don't know if it's just thinking overload or being in your head overload, because it's a year when we've all had to spend quite a lot of time in our heads and not kind of outside and kind of interacting or climbing trees or whatever. So it is for me, it's been more sort of making stuff that you look at rather than, and there's also this thing there's so much sort of news and discussion and talking and thinking, explaining and arguing, although it is great when what you were saying about the sort of verbal tradition of humans just recounting stuff and telling stories and interacting, communicating, but I love how important it is and how useful it is to have other ways of communication that aren't verbal, because sometimes words just totally get in the way and really like mess up the communication. And so to be able to just be communicating through images or even just movement or silence, I feel like is really a lifesaver sometimes. And so this year I feel like that has been more present in terms of like me doing the creative stuff that sort of feeds my well-being, that you know, that everyone's sort of on that spectrum of needing to do creative stuff to keep themselves healthy, but some people like really need to do it like 24/7, and other people just need to do like, you know, a little bit of drawing once a week or whatever. You know, it depends whatever people are into creative wise.
So like me, I need to do it 24/7, no matter what, if it's writing or
that's good. That's a good thing to know,
visual.
to make sure you do it.
It took me a while to understand that I'm an artist, you know, like I'm, you know, 35 now. But yeah, it took me.
So I asked young, you're a spring chicken.
It took me the move of just picking up and moving from my hometown to Brooklyn and New York to understand that I was an artist, and the universe kind of said, this is who you are. And I've had all these amazing experiences and interactions with super creative and talented individuals, and they've all had kind words and advice. And now it's just like, I just want to create like this, like, I don't know. I don't want to stick to like one medium, like photography. It's like, I want to create this, like, I love the physical experience too. So I want to like incorporate sound into this, like, you know, walking experience filled with visuals of film, or, you know, sound, where, you know, sound can be used as a really psychological tool, you know, to tap into somebody's, you know, subconscious emotion. So I was like talking with a friend who kind of just plays around with mixing stuff up digitally. I'm like, what if we
It's true, and you say it is it's a physical experience. Oh no, I've lost you. You're frozen.
Oh no. Oh, connection again.
Come back.
Hello.
Oh, I can hear you. You're back. Yeah. Okay. Hello. Oh, you're frozen again.
Oh no.
But it's still recording. But anyway, let's keep going. I think you're okay to carry on.
Cool. Yeah, it's Zoom.
I shouldn't have said that. I jinxed it.
No. Oh,
yeah.
Where's some wood? There we go. I've been collecting just random pieces of wood. There was a wood shop next to me right here, and she was moving, and all these just random pieces of wood I collected.
Quite stoppy, starty, choppy uppy.
No. 1 second.
Okay, no props.
Am I back? Or is it back again?
You're back. Yep. You're back. You're moving. Your speaker's on. I think we're back in business.
Switching networks now. Oh. No. Hello. Perfect. I think I'm on like several cups of coffee now. It's just the snow and just like today. But and now the interruptions.
We're soldiering on.
Yeah, and, we're now recording again, and
it's gonna be an interesting stoppy-starty one.
Well, I think that we're back fully on the network. So I was using that past segment. I'll just chop this up into segments now. And we're on my partner's hotspot, and obviously that's not a strong enough signal. But we're back, and
good one.
We're free to randomly chat
to carry on.
Creation. Yeah.
Yeah, this is nice.
um, where were we again?
Good question. Oh no. Were we talking about, yeah, non-verbal communication a little bit? And then
Yes, yes. And
what
then,
did you
of
say after
course,
that?
our tool of communication went blank.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's
it started sulking.
yeah. It's like, oh yeah, now it's like a weird our way of communication is not really, it could be lost within 2 seconds.
Yeah,
All of our data. So actually, a new project of mine, which I need to, which will be tedious, is kind of extracting all my, like, say, Facebook posts and everything I've posted online, and making that into a printed document, somehow, because
yeah.
you need something tangible. Facebook could go down, all the servers, and you lose your history.
Yeah,
Like,
I guess so. I mean, it would be kind of cool if that did happen in a way, but someone's got it somewhere, haven't they? They're keeping all the information on everyone,
oh yeah,
but
who
they're not
are
printing
they?
it out into a nice book.
As your screen goes blank, and that's it. Like,
Yeah, exactly. You don't exist
they
anymore.
found me. Exactly. Yeah, it's a weird time of, like, this weird. We're in the late digital age now, and it's like,
Yeah,
we connect. If you think about it, like dating online, it's like,
mhm.
or like, it's a weird, prior to, uh, even, I think even in high school, I just had like a pager, like,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
become, yeah, I didn't have a phone until I was sort of, I don't know, 30 or something.
yeah,
So I managed to go quite a long time, but it's true that this is quite a development, isn't it, that we're all living in.
yeah.
What gets me is the sort of server issue. Like, it's a bit of a con. We're sort of tricked into thinking that the internet is like paper free and, like, save it on the cloud. But there's like these cities worth of servers just churning away, chucking out the kilowatts, and um, you know, being really bad for the environment. So it would be cool. Yeah, we need to learn how to delete a few more emails, don't we, and have a bit less stuff online.
Oh, exactly. But I
We
mean,
say as we're making this YouTube video.
well, it's like, conceptually, it sounds like a great idea, but then how do you do it? Because we've
Yeah,
evolved from, organizations went from, having just drawers and files and,
yeah,
floors and floors of just paper filing, to the
yeah,
digital files. But so there's always a need to keep record, and no matter organization in human history. But how do you do it without, now at a critical point in our time of over consumption, and
yeah.
how do we do that?
It's a real conundrum, a real consumption conundrum. I guess a kind of halfway would be for people to take a bit more responsibility for their own stuff. I feel like less cloud use. It'd be cool if there was some sort of, I mean, I know it's not ideal, but if there was some sort of streaming offsetting system that you could sort of try and offset the amount of server space you use up. I don't know. I do not know. I'd like to pick someone's brains about it. Someone who's an expert about the subject.
Mm.
I'd
Yeah.
like to. I'd like to find out more about what can be done, because we are getting ourselves in a bit of a pickle, aren't we? This funny
Well,
old species.
the devices you know are we use, like, Apple cell phones and all that, cause a lot of damage due to the mining too.
Yeah, exactly. The mining, the
The whole
human
production
damage for the
process is
people
off,
that are, yeah,
very
the
damaging.
workforce.
Yeah.
It's pretty dodgy, and it's hard. But we're a species that's really we find it very easy to not think about something if we can't see it. Like, we can't see the kids working down the mines, so it's just quite easy to buy a new iPhone and to
Mm.
enjoy what a good camera it's got or whatever.
Well, you do bring up a good point, where I feel like we're super detached from the reality. You know,
Yeah,
you
of
know
our food production, of our like clothing production, well, of everything, of the whole,
exactly. Yeah,
like,
we just go to a store, grocery store, pick up groceries. Whereas before, you actually had to butcher the animal, and physically, farm, um,
yeah,
and now it's just like a trend, farm to table. But that's like the natural process, but not.
yeah. It's tricky. It's not we're not very good at setting ourselves up in sustainable situations, are we? We're just always, and it's like all or nothing. It's like, oh, let's everyone eat avocados now, and then that's a total disaster. It's like, everyone do this, and it's like running over this side of the boat, and it goes, and then it's like,
Yeah.
we just can't do anything in moderation. What is wrong with us?
I don't get it. Yeah, no, I don't see why, it has to be left or right. Anything in life is never right or wrong. It's always this messy middle. Like, you have to compromise on something. But
exactly.
But we also have to be realistic. Well, we're in a time where, like, fact is not fact, and science, people aren't believing in science anymore, Or
well, I mean, they've always been around.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's true that it seems very strange. Our relationship with science is a funny one, isn't it? Like, some people just take it as gospel, and other people take it as, I don't know, blasphemy or whatever. I don't know, they just don't believe it, but it's true, because there's all this. It's hard because it's not as simple as science and not science. There's the media. There's how they want us to interpret it. There's who's funding certain scientific projects, and how there's like, it's so complicated, and it's really hard for anyone to find their way and to know what to trust. So in the end, people just end up deciding to trust what makes them feel the least worried.
That's true. Yeah,
it's just like they'll believe whatever gets them through the day, because it's hard getting through the day, and sometimes it means you're not believing the best thing, but sometimes it means it's hard.
Yeah, like the need to just latch on to something like an ideal or ideology, to bring hope to a community, or but
because we want explanations, and we want like reasoning, and we want to sort of think that there's some sort of sense or pattern to things. But the reality is that usually isn't, but we still just want to look for it all the time, because that's what sort of creatures we are.
That's true. Creatures. We are creatures.
We are creatures. Weirdo creatures.
Yeah. New album, Weirdo Creatures.
New band.
True, yeah. Actually, that sounds pretty cool. That'd be a cool band.
There we go.
Creatures. But I mean, do you miss like the live performance aspect too? Like,
I
that
do.
energy. It's like it's a cool give and take from performer to the audience too.
Yeah, I miss it as an audience member, and I miss it as a performer, and I feel like most people miss it.
Yeah.
Because it's a really powerful sort of energy exchange, and just again a communication that isn't necessarily speaking in sentences, even though it can be in between the songs. Why not? Some people are really good at banter.
Yeah.
But it's just we just need music, and the vibrations in the room, the vibrations of the music, the sound, but also just the vibrations of the people and the bodies that are in the room. And so it is really hard not getting that part of our nutrition that we need. So and then it's hard again, because people's livelihoods are getting really threatened, and venues are shutting down. But then I think there's livelihoods are being threatened in every walk of life, in every sort of sector. So it's hard. It's just that I exist in the sort of live music sector, so that's the one that I think about. But it's all over the place, and it's a bit worrying. But I hope there'll be ways to play live music again for people. I guess in the summer it'll be a bit easier, because you can do kind of small scale outside stuff, I hope. Is that me being over optimistic?
Oh, we'll see how this the vaccines go too, right?
I guess so, yeah.
But I think outside kind of I don't know. There's like here in New York, like in the city, there's like venues just kind of doing like a bootleg error type thing of saying screw the rules, and we'll have like
clandestine
live
events.
Performances, but which is technically not legal under the rules are now. But it's like, you're kind of risking people's healths doing that.
Yeah, you don't want to put people at risk. It is hard, but at the same time, maybe they're choosing. They're like sort of. They're choosing to put themselves at risk. But with this current situation, it's not as simple as what I do is my responsibility, because what I do is I'm responsible for everyone I interact with every day, in terms of contamination stuff. So it's hard. People have got different comfort zones in terms of responsibility and restricting their own behavior, and it's not an easy thing to navigate by any means.
What's the vibe over in kind of Europe? Like, is it in Paris?
It varies a bit country to country. I feel like Italy was hit so bad really early on, like earlier than a lot of the other countries, and as a result of which they seem a bit stricter about the way in which people are kind of locked down, or the movement of people around the country and stuff. But again, maybe that's just my interpretation of it. In Paris, it's pretty strict when there is a lockdown. So like, when they say no one go outside. The first batch, like in March, whatever, was really strict, and it was just ghost town and no one was outside, and there was police like checking people's papers and stuff because you couldn't leave the house without like paperwork and things. The second one was a lot more relaxed. There was definitely a lot of people out just carrying on, but so it's hard, but it's sort of, I kind of feel like although every country's methods vary a little bit, they kind of come to the same thing more or less. Everyone's got kind of matching numbers in terms of the statistics, give or take a few percent. And so it's hard. They just sort of choose some rules because you've got to choose some rules, and they do them, and then I don't know. Again, like, it's this thing, isn't it, of responsibility and freedom of the individual. You've frozen. I wonder if I've lost you or if I should keep going. It's still recording, so I'm going to keep going. But yeah, what?
Hello. Hello.
Okay, done it. The only thing is, now that we're back, I've got another interview in 6 minutes.
Oh no! Yeah.
Oh no! But we can go until 29 minutes past.
Yeah, I mean.
Where were we also? We could also try again another time, but this has been quite fun. It's been good.
Exactly. I'm like, oh man, I kind of want to continue, but
it's kind of quite it's quite appropriate. This is the reality of so many people's like daily experience.
That is like true.
Losing each other, finding each other again, the digital adventures.
Yeah. Oh man, there's so much I would like to touch base upon, but I mean, we could
always do a part 2 another time.
We could do part 2 if on your schedule. I'm super flexible. I guess at this moment, well, you have the new album out, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. That's
how was that kind of reception like going?
Well, people have been really nice. No one has told me they hate it. Or maybe they have on the internet, and because I'm not someone that checks comments and things like that, I don't know about it, but that's fine. But yeah, people have been really nice, and last week I think it was like #1 in the folk charts, and I feel really lucky that people have been receiving it warmly and being nice about it. So yeah, but I just want to play the songs now. I saw an interview with Tricky yesterday, and he was putting it really nicely. I wish I could remember exactly what he was saying, but he was talking about, you make an album and then you go out and you kind of have the experience, you kind of experience the songs once you go out and play them to people. And it does feel weird not experiencing them, because I've not really ever played them to anyone other than the band. So I'd like to do that and see what it feels like. But, maybe...
That's kind of like the tangibility aspect, like in creating something you want it tangible, like visuals. I love, I can capture it digitally, but I want to print it. I want something tangible. With music, you want to, you want the people to hear it
in a real thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it is hard. Yeah, I too am someone that needs sort of like, I need sort of like paper and pens and stuff. I struggle reading stuff off a screen. I'm really bad at reading emails. And I just, like, quite often if I know that it's important, I have to print it off and just like read it and like sort of underline bits, because I just can't do it on a screen. It's really hard reading stuff, like, experiencing stuff and absorbing stuff through a screen feels kind of, it doesn't always work, does it?
Well, I'm kind of similar too. Like I process better reading physical paper or books and stuff like that, so
yeah, it's nice.
Definitely get it.
And for communicating as well, it's nice. Like, I know a lot of people that will like write emails, friendly emails, like not work related ones, but just like social emails to each other, and I just can't do it. I can't. Firstly, I feel bad like making someone be in front of a computer screen reading my news and chat or whatever, and secondly, I don't want to be in front of a computer screen reading news and chat. So like, I just feel like, yeah, I really need letters to write. I really need one of my favorite things is writing letters, so that is a real savior for me at the moment. Sending post and occasionally getting a bit of post back, but mainly I don't do it to get the post back. I just do it because it's nice chatting to people. You feel like you're spending time with them when you're like thinking about them and writing on a bit of paper. It's sort of a different experience, isn't
it? I agree. It's I want to invest in a typewriter so I can type. Because
sometimes it hurts your fingers though. The typewriters you do have to sort of hammer it, unless you get a real nice deluxe one. And they don't make the ribbon anymore, so it's very hard. Like, I've had to stop using my typewriters because I can't find any ribbon.
Oh no, yeah.
They don't make it anymore, so you have to sort of find old stock off people. It's doable, and some people like re-ink their own ribbons. Yeah, but I've never had much luck with that, so let me know how you get on.
Yeah. I'll write you a note and send it.
Yeah, type me the update.
I'll just be like half written because I ran out of ink.
Yeah, exactly. Clunk.
Yeah.
Oh no, Rob, I'm really sorry, but I do have to go now.
Yeah.
It's been really nice chatting, and let me know if you want to do a part 2.
Yeah, do you have the email or my email?
I do. The first time you disappeared, I went on your site and found your email, and then I sent you an email. So maybe that's that has arrived. But just in case it didn't arrive, let me just give you my email in the chat box. Cool. And you can copy it out of there. I always forget to copy things out of the chat box before I hang up, and then I'm like, oh no.
Cool. No, it was a pleasure chatting with you, and I'd love to do it again. But when we have
when it's less extreme conditions where you are.
But
reconnected on the wires.
Enjoy your second interview.
Yeah, thank you. I hope it's as fun as this one. Thanks for your time, and speak to you again.
Cheers.
Brilliant.
You too. Thank you so much for your time.
And happy holidays, happy New Year, and everything. And
same to you. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.